Okay, so apparently David Griffin, or D.W. Griffin, did appear in the Luke Cage show, played by Jerome Richard Kraft. So they made him African American instead of a white guy in there. Okay. Of course, now they're working in the barber shop instead of the theater. It's just, well, but again, that was a good show. But he appears a few times with Cage in that, and he's the guy who puts up the help. He puts up the help wanted sign on the Pop's barber shop at the end because Cage gets arrested there. And, it's not great, but it happens. Excuse me. I don't see anything on the guy I was looking for though, which is weird because I see him a lot in these earlier comics, but for whatever reason, it's not. Bob is not even listed in this. I wonder if he was based on Bob Wall. I don't know. Who was a martial artist who had a good working relationship with Bruce Lee, and they were friends. That's why he was the villain in many of Bruce Lee's movies. That's why he had the big fight instead of Bolo with Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee liked working with Bob Wall. Bob Diamond, that's who we're talking about. Son of the Dragons. Oh, wow. Holy shit. So first appearance was Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, April 1974. I find that because years were born. Anyway, that doesn't have a lot to do with O'Neill, if anything. He was editing it, but at that point he was not writing any of this stuff, because they do have the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu that appeared in, and for whatever reason had a painted picture of Bruce Lee on the cover. In Search of Bruce Lee, it's a story, I guess. I guess they had the rights. Marvel, I'm assuming you would just put Bruce Lee's face on a comic cover without in 1975. Interesting. So that was from issue 17, so that was after the fact, which is interesting. Whatever. Okay, cool. Sons of the Dragon. Excuse me, Sons of the Tiger. Whatever. White Tiger, the Hispanic martial artist. I don't really get much on the... Oh, he wasn't one of them. Excuse me, White Tiger was his own character that was created by George Perez. I'm not going into that. Anyway, these three guys. One of these is Bob. We have A. Brown, Lou Sun, and Bob Diamond. Probably all people based on different martial artists of the time. Drawn by Don Wilson. Okay, cool. But anyway, that has little, or actually nothing to do with this whole thing. Because this is basically about, the whole run he had on here. And while the stories weren't anything you'd be like holding up as great moments in literature for the comic field, they told a decent story. And he was still a great storyteller. Danny O'Neill did what he needed to do to make things work. He made the stories suit the characters. He put things together in interesting ways. And everything did what it needed to do. But he did have that one story where he dove into something that was on his mind that was important to him. Not trying to figure out political stuff or anything like that. Just the human condition where everybody knows somebody who's been affected by it. And when he got into about alcoholism, the dangers of it, and whatnot, he did a pretty good story there. He's had good runs. I wouldn't really call him a social justice warrior, because there were times where right-wing people, and it's going to shock the shit out of you, were the good guys within the dynamic of the hard-run heroes. I know, y'all all thought it was just SJW stuff. Sorry to disappoint. Yes, there were a lot of times where Green Arrow was the right, but there were several times where Green Lantern was in the right in those stories. See, it was done balance, which a lot of people forget was a thing. Everybody now wants to just beat you over the head with whatever side they're on. Anyway, that's not important. That has nothing to do with anything. Because again, we're celebrating the passing of the great man, the legend, who was Danny O'Neill, who was a very good writer. I didn't agree with his politics a lot, but I liked his story. I liked his work. I liked how he put together things. That he was able to tell a story and make it interesting. And everything within the pages of this book worked. Power Man and Iron Fist were good. I mean, yeah, okay, there was a lot of things where you... It was very much of its time, but it was fine. I mean, I'm not gonna say have reached any of the things they had Power Man saying, but it wasn't like overly bad. It was, well, Power Man, yeah, as a character of his time. I'll just leave it. I mean, he was the cool street guys. It was written that way, exploitation stuff, and it was still there. And he was shown to be intelligent in these books, in spite of the facade. So he was kind of like, at least, yeah, Conan was, You didn't know he was, well, Conan when he was in the Dark Horse run, not, yeah. He's a smart guy. He just hid it under things, kind of like Ben Grimm or stuff, So the characters fit who they were, and he told a good story with them. But Luke at the time was always the main focus of the Power Man and Iron Fist stories. I mean, they would switch the dynamic to fit it to where it was Iron Fist when it was appropriate. It was kind of like they were an actual team. They would have some stories that were more Luke's focus and others were more of Danny's focus, and then they'd have stories where they just worked together as a team and did a great job. I'm not going into the whole thing because, again, O'Neill isn't there yet. He's not involved in any way, shape, or form. He's off doing whatever. He may have just left Batman or wherever he was doing. I don't know. There are quite a few issues before he comes into the whole story. Even when they brought back freaking Sabretooth. Before Sabretooth was popular. Alright, that's all I'm going to say on that. God bless, and O'Neill will be missed.